John Fredericks Radio Network and the John Fredericks Show app. U.S. stocks open lower as fresh trade tensions upend market calm, according to the Wall Street Journal. Of course, Wall Street hates Trump and they hate tariffs. So now we have to have this big fear because you might get another tariff on China. And the Wall Street, Goldman Sachs, gangster banksters, cheap labor crowd is squealing like pigs. Oh my God, we might have to find an alternative to cheap Chinese goods. Oh, what a calamity this is going to be. Stocks dive. And of course, that'll be their headline all day. That'll be their headline, and that's what they will push all day. Coming out of Goldman Sachs and the gangster banksters running the country in Wall Street. Oh my God, it is tariff Armageddon. Batten down the hatches. The party's over. We're all going to die because the president is putting another $200 billion of tariffs on China goods on Fridays. Oh my heavens, we'll not be able to buy cheap crap from China. It's the end of the world as we know it. And oh, by the way, we're going to have to get more jobs here and pay U.S. workers a legit wage. And therefore, on Wall Street are bonuses derived from cheap labor, illegal immigrants, and outsourcing crap to China will fall. We'll have to pay a wage to a worker, and we'll get less bonuses. That's what this whole thing is about. I mean, how many times you go down the same path? And all the fake news is in the legacy media. They're all going to be crowing today about the stock market is about to crash because Trump's going to do tariffs. Liquidate your 401k. It's over. No college fund for you. This is the nonsense we're going to have to deal with for the next 3 days. Oh my God, the S&P lost 1.2% in the opening bell. Oh my God. This all the gangster banksters on Wall Street are saying because President Trump threatened on Friday to ramp up tariffs on another $200 billion of cheap Chinese junk to 25%, up from 10% currently. So it's causing jitters on Wall Street. See, this is the problem. It's causing jitters. Jitter. What does that mean, jitters? Do you even know what that means? Jitters. I'm going to sell my stock because we're going to have to find an alternative to buying cheap Chinese-produced goods that are then dumped on the market, costing American workers wages and jobs. It's causing me jitters that I might have to pay the American worker a legit wage. It's causing Goldman Sachs jitters. The next time you hear this in the legacy fake news media, including the Wall Street Cheap Labor Journal, which I don't read either, the next time you hear the Goldman Sachs gangsters talking about Wall Street jitters, I want you to remember this conversation we're having. It's another made-up word by the cheap labor crowd, by the globalists. Wall Street is just a front for globalists. Oh my God, it's having jitters. You're losing value. Let's scare you. Let's scare Grandpa. Grandpa, you're losing value in your 401k because of Trump's proposed tariffs, and it's going to wipe out your Social Security. Why don't you say that too? Why don't you just go the full Mary instead of telling you about jitters? This is the nonsense that you're going to get now. It's going to go on for 3 days. Because what they're trying to do is scare the Trump administration into halting their vision of making America competitive on the global market. They don't want us to be competitive. They want to outsource labor for cheaper goods and cheap labor. Meanwhile, look at this article in the Wall Street Journal. It's laughable. I mean, it's so predictable. I could have come in at 6 a.m. and said, here's going to be the headline today on the opening bell of the stock exchange put out by the Wall Street Journal and the other fake news gangster banksters in Lower Manhattan. I could have predicted it. Meanwhile, get this. Are you sitting down because this is really going to shock you out of your chair? I mean, go buy toilet paper and water. Meanwhile, shares of semiconductor companies, according to the Wall Street Gangster Bankster Journal, which have been caught in the crosshairs of the trade battle. Oh, they've been caught in the crosshairs. Look at this writing. You start breaking this stuff down, it's laughable. Caught in the crosshairs of the trade battle were battered Monday. It's 9:40 a.m. But according to the Wall Street Gangster Bankster Journal, they're battered on Monday. The bell just rang 20 minutes ago. It's battered. With stocks such as Advanced Micro Devices, Micron Technology, and some company called Nvidia, each losing at least 3.8% apiece pre-market because they might not be able to buy their cheap crap dumped on the U.S. docks with no tariffs from China, subsidized by the Chi-Com government, to corner the market and put U.S. semiconductor companies out of business. This is after they stole our technology. They go on to say semiconductor shares are vulnerable to a trade war because China is a strong driver for chip equipment sector. Interpretation. The Chinese Communist government subsidized the production of cheap chip equipment and ships it to the U.S. on a tank ship. It's then dumped on the port of L.A. with no tariffs, priced under market value by the Chi-Com subsidies in order to drive U.S. semiconductor companies out of business so that in the future, the U.S. has no semiconductor companies and the Chinese control the market. But in the short term, we get cheap semiconductors. Yay! Yay, we get to make more money. Forget the fact that the U.S. is going to be out of the semiconductor business and not be able to produce its own computers because all the companies go under and all the jobs are lost. But yay! Instead of getting a $3 million bonus, this year we'll get 3.7. Yay! We can buy another yacht. Yay! Just reading this stuff. That's why you have me to break it down. I got to go forward this. Look at this. Wall Street Journal just out. This is just, the Wall Street Journal is a tool of Goldman Sachs. Look at this. Monday's volatile drops. Kiara, could you turn your mic on? You're a millennial. I know you're intelligent. You went to Norfolk State. You're really smart. All your professors told me how smart you are. What time does the U.S. stock market open in New York? What time do they hit the bell? 9:30, right?
Okay, yeah.
What time is it now?
It is 9:47.
Okay, it's 17 minutes in. Monday's volatile drops. It's been 17 minutes. Monday's volatile drops follow months of relative calm after a turbulent 2018 left investors scarred. They went from jitters to scarred. Like scarred, like what does that mean? Like hurt? They're scarred. Isn't the stock market higher than it's ever been? No, it left them scarred. They're overturning NAFTA. Scars abound. They didn't do TPP. It's scarred. I'm scarred for life. I am scarred for life because Trump put a tariff on the Chi-Coms who are stealing technology and dumping goods in the United States and doing it for 50 years. Therefore, I'm scarred. Shall we read on? Or shall I just stop here and cut my losses? Let's read on. I'm just showing you the folly of the fake newsers. Wall Street Journal right up there. Stocks, bonds, and credit markets rose in 2019, with U.S. equities recently touching all-time highs. Okay, that's a good thing, right? Well, market observers had said optimism about the U.S. trade talks helped underpin that climb. You can't even read this, ladies and gentlemen, with a straight face. This is propaganda coming out of the Wall Street Journal. This is gold. You could have gotten Goldman Sachs's PR department to write this piece. The reason why stocks went up and everybody's making money is because, well, it looked like there was going to be some kind of a trade peace accord between the U.S. and China, but now, no. Look, the tariffs are still there. Trump never removed any of them. They're at 10 and 25%. All he said is, on Friday, if I can't get a deal on my terms, they're all going to 25%. So the Wall Street Journal lying right here in print. It's unbelievable. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. John Fredericks Radio Network. I want you to remember this segment for a long time. We're not 20. This article from the Wall Street Journal came out. The bell rang 20 minutes ago. This article was written, ladies and gentlemen, before the bell. It was written last night. They wrote it before they got any results in. Why did they write it ahead of time? Because they want to drive the narrative. This is not reporting by the Wall Street Journal. This is fake news, propaganda at its apex. This makes CNN look legit. This makes Rachel Maddow look like a real journalist. Wall Street Journal and their fake news propagandists wrote a piece yesterday based on they want to drive people to become scared about the tariffs and put pressure on the president to back off. And the stock market was closed 10 minutes and they sent it out. Jitters. Look at these words. Jitters. Scarred. Calamity. Investors fleeing the market in droves. They wrote the piece. It's like an autopsy. Not an autopsy, a eulogy. Like an obit. Right? When I was in the newspaper business, you had to write the obit on the person before they were dead so that you had it ready. This is like they already wrote the obit on the day before it even opened. Unbelievable. Do you see what Trump is fighting every day here? You see the status quo? He's fighting everything to change it. Wonder why they hate the guy. Wonder why they all want him out. He's disrupted their little party machine of making gods of money for doing nothing. What does Wall Street produce? What does any of these investment bankers produce? Anything? Do they make a ball bearing? Do they make a wheel, a tire, a piece of rubber, like a bicycle? What do they make? Do they make a desk, a piece of wood, a cup? What do they produce? They push paper around, manipulating things so they can screw you and make money. It's basically it. You saw it in 2008, and they're doing it again. John Fredericks Radio Network, gangster banksters running your government, and Wall Street Journal is their biggest propagandizer. I'll be right back. Colonel Mike number 2 in Virginia Beach says, Wall Street major pump and dump operation. Fake news drives the market down and short stock on the market, thereby cleaning it up. Thereby cleaning up, he says. That news article caused of massive sell-offs by morons who can't think rationally. All planned and all to screw you. I mean, you really think about this Wall Street Journal article. This was written on Sunday. This came out online, big headlines, news blast, 10 minutes after the bell rung, the hammer went down, the market opened. This was all premeditated. Like you think we're idiots? Obviously you do. And the Wall Street Journal is the number one propaganda machine for Goldman Sachs. Unbelievable.